Say it again. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you. So before we begin, I'd like to show you a very short 1-minute video, and then we'll actually begin the show.
We are Justice for All. Headquartered in the heart of downtown Chicago, Justice for All is a global humanitarian initiative dedicated to raising awareness for human rights concerns impacting vulnerable minority groups. Our diverse team of staff and volunteers, led by Imam Malik Mujahid, work tirelessly to help Justice for All achieve their goals. We promote policies that protect religious freedom, address the root causes of mass displacement, and recognize the plight of refugees and forced migrants. Together, we can continue to stand up for justice. Justice for all.
So I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum again, and that means peace be with you. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I'm going to introduce myself if those of you who do not know me. My name is Asima Silva, and I volunteer for Justice for All. I'll be a host for this evening. I do have my own organization, as some of you may know, called Enjoying Good. But this is the good that I have chosen also to enjoin, is to volunteer for Justice for All. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we hope you will enjoy on the information and also be encouraged to volunteer as well as I do. We will start with the reading of the Quran by Hafiz Ibrahim.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث صدق الله العظيم.
I will be reciting or reading the recitation, reading the translation of Surah Al-Duha, the morning hours. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. By the morning brightness, and by the night when it covers with the darkness, your Lord has not taken leave of you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nor has he detested you. And the hereafter is better for you than the first life, and your Lord is going to give you and will be satisfied. Did he not find you an orphan and give you refuge? And he found you lost and guided you. And he found you poor and made you self-sufficient. So as for the orphan, do not oppress him. And as for the petitioner, do not repress him. But as for the favor of your Lord, report it.
We have a very concise program today, so I request that all of you, if you can, please pay attention. We're going to try to do it in a very concise format. We wanted to do a poetry reading on Christ. Our motto, the totality of justice, equity, and fairness. The Prophet's last sermon is the best at expressing this, and our brother Abu Bakr Tambaidu, I hope I pronounced it correctly, reiterates our commitments to the Prophet ﷺ. Brother Tambaidu, as a Gambian justice minister, brought a case against Myanmar at the International Court of Justice. Burma Task Force, which is the JFA campaign, worked with him. And Brother Tambaidu is a recent recipient of the Justice for All's Torch of Justice Award. This part of his speech was when he was honored in the DC area by the Burma Task Force. So please join me in watching that video.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallimu tasliman. My brothers and sisters in Islam and other distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am indeed grateful to be among you here today, among this beautiful gathering of beautiful Muslim sisters and brothers. It is a truly, truly humbling experience for me as I stand here, and I can't thank you enough for this honor. I wish to recognize, before I say a little more, it's been a long day for all of us, and I would like to keep this short. But before I do that, I would like to recognize the tremendous effort of Imam Abdul Malik Mujahid of Burma Task Force for ensuring that I appear here today in person, and he has committed great effort to see this happen. And I have no regrets, Imam, for coming here today. Thank you very much. I would also like to recognize the presence in our midst of my family members, some of whom have come all the way from the Gambia. Others are here in the United States, in New York, in Atlanta, in Pennsylvania, and here in Washington, to join me to celebrate this honor. And I would like them to just stand up so that you can all see them. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. And indeed, I would like to thank all of you for making the time to be here with me and to honor me in such humbling way. I know the attention is on me, but those on whom this attention should truly be are the victims of the Rohingya genocide. They are the real heroes who we should always be thinking about, because this is about them. This is about their plight. This is about their suffering and their pain. We are sitting here. We have an opportunity to say these words and to have a very sumptuous meal. But even as we do that, some of these refugees are dying, or the Rohingya are dying in Myanmar. And so our hearts and our thoughts must always be with them, because this is about them. In his last sermon, in the plains of Mount Arafat, our dear Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this: "O people, lend me an attentive ear, for I know not whether after this year I shall ever be amongst you again. Therefore listen to what I am saying very carefully, and take these words to those who could not be present here today. O people, just as you regard this month, this day, this city as sacred, so regard the life and property of every Muslim as a sacred trust. Return the goods entrusted to you to their rightful owners. Hurt no one, so that no one may hurt you. Remember that you will indeed meet your Lord, and that he will indeed reckon your deeds. O people, listen to me in earnest. Worship Allah. Say your 5 daily prayers. Fast during the month of Ramadan and give your wealth in zakat. Perform Hajj if you can afford to. All mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab. No, a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black. No, a black has any superiority over a white. Except by piety and good action. Learn that every Muslim is a brother to every Muslim, and that the Muslims constitute one brotherhood. Nothing shall be legitimate to a Muslim which belongs to a fellow Muslim, unless it was given freely and willingly. Do not therefore do injustice to yourselves. Remember, one day you will meet Allah and answer your deeds. So beware, do not stray from the path of righteousness after I am gone. O people, no prophet or apostle will come after me, and no new faith will be born. Reason well, therefore, O people, and understand my words which I convey to you. I leave behind me 2 things, the Quran and my Sunnah. And if you follow these, you will never go astray. All those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others, and those to others again. And may the last ones understand my words better than those who listen to me directly. Be my witness, O Allah, that I have conveyed your message to your people. These were the last words of the last sermon of our dear prophet.
Those are powerful words, not only by what we just heard, but our own prophet, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I'd like to talk about how I am the Justice for All's liaison with the Congressional Commission of the United States that works on human rights, called the Tam Lantos Human Rights Commission. And our congressman, the Honorable Jim McGovern, is also a co-chair of that committee. We had invited him, and but he had a prior commitment. And Congressman McGovern is also a recipient of Justice for All's Torch of Justice Award. We worked with the Tam Lantos Commission, bringing Rohingya, Uyghur, as well as India to their attention, and asked for the commission to hold a hearing on Muslim persecutions. Alhamdulillah, they came through and held a hearing on Islamophobia and its effects on minority Muslim populations. Isn't that what Justice for All works on? So Justice for All started with Bosnia Task Force 30 years ago, and they have never stopped working on your behalf. Justice for All continues to engage the Tam Lantos Commission and has submitted profiles to of prisoners of war of Indian regime for their victims database. We will inshallah follow through with this. In 2022, when India was scheduled for its Universal Periodic Review of Human Rights at the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland, I represented Justice for All as a part of coalition with the World Evangelical Alliance, Open Doors, and in the middle of this picture you will see Wissam and Gloria, who are in the center for Open Doors. We were also joined by Hindus for Human Rights, Indian American Muslim Council, and the International Committee for Dalit Rights. This was one of the submissions that Justice for All was a part of, and we met with several country representatives, including Portugal, Italy, United Kingdom, and many others. I must point out some wow moments. When I presented the 12 parallels in our Nazification of India report, it made many country representatives sit up and take notice. Interestingly, some coalition partners also began referring to this report in our meetings with country representatives, saying Asima has a good parallel to Nazis that she can share with you. Since this coalition wanted to concentrate on India, I am happy to share with you that Justice for All made a second separate submission, authored by our UN representative, Adam Carroll. That submission was for India's human rights abuses in Kashmir, where other organizations feared to tread, and Justice for All was there. And I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have this organization that has done this effective work on this genocidal program, tracking for almost 30 years. And let's be thankful for it. To share what we have done on India, let me call Brother Zahir to give you an overview.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you all so much for coming here tonight. And as Asima said, we have also worked on India quite a bit. I happen to lead the Save India from Fascism campaign at Justice for All. And it has fast become the campaign that is requiring the most work from us. And I'm quite sure some of the Indians that are sitting in here know why I say that. We have done a lot of work on India, but I'm not going to spend too much time. We have done a lot of congressional work on India with 60 meetings, 25 plus memos, 2 on-the-record hearings, written submissions, and the Congressional Research Service, the official research service in the US Congress, actually used our ask in its own policy report. We did, when Donald Lu did a testimony, we did a rebuttal. We are part of the, we did a draft on the HR 1196. But let me quickly point out, the ones who know these are the people who are calling for a genocide in India. I can proudly say that we are the only Muslim-led organization that has done global Magnitsky filings in the United States and Canada, none other. How many of you know about this one? Happened in Dallas. We are again, I was sitting in a meeting. We are the only organization that filed an official complaint with the IRS. This one, we asked the United States Department of Justice, we asked the New Jersey Attorney General's office to investigate these organizations as agents of a foreign power. We connected with African American labor groups for the slave labor that was happening. And for the Gates Foundation, 2,200 pages in 2 big boxes delivered to their door. This was because of you, the ones who signed that petition for us. Thank you very much. This one, hijab rights are human rights. We all know that. But now I'll come to 3 things that I want to point out. But before that, I hope to see Brother Mohit here. If I can get some of those copies that he has printed for us, I'd appreciate it. So recently, last year, we hosted a lot of international Arab journalists in a Middle Eastern setting. Not in the United States, but we went outside. I was part of that delegation. We went to the Middle East, we hosted them there, gave them a briefing of what's happening in India. You'll be very surprised. They did not know. And after that, almost every week, we've been sending them updates on India in Arabic. It is very important for us to let them know what's happening, because when they do, that's when they will speak up. Now we intend to do this again this year, and it's going to cost, it costed about $20,000 last year, it's going to cost us about the same. So please keep that in mind for later. And of course we all know about the BBC documentary that happened on Modi. 2 episodes of it, both of them have been blocked by the Indians, and the BBC is only running it, streaming it, so that only people within the United Kingdom can watch it. So we have this action alert where we are asking BBC to make that streaming available for all, so that 1.2 billion people in India have the same opportunity to figure out what's happening with the Modi regime as the people in the United Kingdom do. We launched this campaign this morning. We have some printouts. Again, thank you Mohit Bhai for coming through at the very last moment. And we want you to take these to your masjid. We want you to take these to your friends and ask them to take action. This is where you and I can be very effective, because people in India do not have the opportunity to speak. You and I do. And this is an opportunity. Modi was banned from visiting the United States for 10 years because of this. And today, if this is happening, this is an opportunity for us to do something about it. The reason why he was banned was also because of you, sir. Thank you, Nadine. And we have to keep that in mind, that we have to use the vehicles that are available to us in this country as American citizens, not as Indian Americans, because Modi is not going to listen to us. You're not going to speak to the devil to change his colors. Ask the people over here to do it for you. Going further, Asima just talked about the 12 points of analysis in the Nazification of India report. It took us 1.5 years to research, write, design, review, go back, rewrite, so that we have it as close to perfect as possible. It can never be perfect. But tonight, I am very happy to tell all of you. Tonight is the first release of the Nazification of India report. This is your report. Take it, review it, learn it, go to your masjid, go to your interfaith partners, use it to educate them, use it to ask them for things. We are here to help you, but we cannot work without you. I'm going to call upon Nadine as well as Asima. I want Nadine. Asima, please. You want to present here? Please come on. We'd like it both, if this is the first copy, it will be presented to you. And we'd like you to release it to the world.
Thank you.
Now, what does that Nazification of India review do? Why did country representatives sit up and take notice? It's because of this. 12 points of analysis, 12 points of parallels. And every single one has been referenced multiple times. Of course, you can read this later. Again, we depend on you, so please do not forget that. And I guess I'll call Asima back again.
At this time, I would like to invite Imam Abdul Malik Mujahid. Imam Mujahid leads Sound Vision Foundation and Muslim Network TV, the only television with news from a Muslim perspective, every evening. Make sure you watch Muslim Network News, and Imam Mujahid has been chosen among the 500 most influential Muslims of the world. He's a scholar of religion as well as political science. He is also the president of Justice for All, and we all want to welcome him, and please, he has very wise words to share with us today.
Alhamdulillah الذي كفى والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد المصطفى وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا الذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدقه النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Dear brothers and sisters, and some young Muslims, Thank you so much for coming. Truly appreciate that. It has been a while, perhaps 3 years, I haven't come to Boston. And thank you so much, Brother Zahid and rest of the team for organizing this particular program. Justice for All, as you have heard, was started when the images of Bosnia in Europe, where people say never again, images of people like standing in the concentration camps of the Nazis were all over. That's where about 10 imams and president of masjid in Chicago gathered, and they asked Sound Vision and myself to come there. And community gave us this assignment that you need to work on the human rights of Muslim community. It took us 3 years, 100 or so marches. Alhamdulillah, that's how we began. So in the beginning, just few things before I get to my proper presentation. There are 3 things which we do. Justice for All is a Sound Vision. We have a daily 24/7 television, Muslim Network TV. Alhamdulillah, that's the only channel Muslim community has. It's on satellite, as well as on OTT devices, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and all other places. And we do the traditional thing on which Sound Vision started. And that was the resources to raise a community of believers who are good Muslims, good neighbors, and good citizens. It's being the good neighbors and good citizen, taking the whole country with us, which makes a difference. So when we were working on Bosnia Task Force, you know, the first coalition we had, conservative Muslims aligning with very liberal National Organization of Women, that was mother of everything in those days, and having a march together. Working with neighbors, empowering yourself with coalition and relationships, and strategically moving forward. That's how change comes.